And welcome back to JKLIVE Live here at Citizen Television, here with my good friend, Dr. James Mwangi, CEO, Equity Group, 35 years old. And I tell you, 14.5 million customers so far and counting. They're in 9 African countries and counting. 700 billion, guys, 700 billion?
Balance sheet.
Good Lord.
Or funds available for the members.
Almost $1 trillion, and you're heading to $1 trillion, Dr.
Certainly.
That's incredible.
We can see it coming.
Huh?
We can see it coming.
The move, I heard you say somewhere you want to be the Pan-African bank. And you know, there are big players on the continent. You know, those Nigerians are there, the South Africans are there, but you are positioning yourselves to be in there.
Certainly, Jeff. Africa needs to develop its own institutions. Every civilization needs to be identified by what it stands for. And part of it is structures, institutions, beliefs, and ethos. So Africa is of age to now build institutions that respond to the needs and aspirations of the African people, and that respects our culture and our identity.
Bottom line, can you compete with those so-called big boys? Can you compete with them, Dr.
East Africa provides the most solid region in Africa to develop a bank. I've no doubt Nairobi today is regarded as the 3rd financial center in Africa. So essentially we are making good progress, and it's just a question of time before then Equity leads the region as a major African bank.
Yeah, Dr. You know, the model of equity, the equity model will be talked about and studied for generations. People don't realize the model itself is actually a case study in certain university, Ivy League institutions.
Thank you, Jeff. Back in the early 2000s, Equity was feted for developing a model which developers said is an initiation of the future that is likely to change the global economy. We never saw it that way. We never understood. Today, Equity has been studied, and 32 case studies have been done on equity. 3 by Stanford, 3 by Harvard, 2 by MIT, 9 by Columbia University. Lagos Business School has done 11. SA Business School has done 4. And when you look at all those case studies, they bring out the different facets of a model. Equity is a high volume, low margin business model that allows affordability and accessibility to our people. It's heavily driven by technology so as to allow scale. And at the same time, it's responsive to the needs and aspiration of the people. So people can build the products that they want to suit their needs. But more importantly is to see the validation the equity model has gone through. In 2005, it won the Global Vision Award, beating Professor Yunus Mohammed of Grameen Bank, a Nobel laureate. It then went on, 2012, to be voted as the best enterprise, and we won the World Entrepreneur of the Year award in Monaco. And then on, the Forbes African Enterprise and Persons of the Year, the same year. So we can see, and essentially when you look at the ranking of the top 1,000 banks in the world, Africa, Equity is the top African bank on that ranking. Ranked number 11 best bank in return on assets in 2018 and 35th most solid bank on earth. That is the credentials behind this model. So again, as a people and as a civilization, we need to be very proud, and particularly the members, for what they collectively have been able to build. And hopefully this will inspire us to acknowledge the possibility and capability we have of building globally competitive institutions.
And Dr. you insist on not calling them customers. They're not customers, they're members to you.
They're not customers, they're members. When you create a movement, the movement is yours and you're a member of the movement. Customers are external. We don't own equity. It's owned by the members. We serve the members. We serve at the mercy of the members.
If you were to change one thing in 35 years, Dr. Ari, of the bank's existence, one thing, what would it be?
I think what I could have done different, one, is I think we could have celebrated more than we celebrated. It has taken us 35 years to look back and celebrate. Our celebration inspires us. The second thing, I think we could have been more communicative. We could have talked about this story. Maybe we could have inspired more people. We could have given more people courage and confidence that it can be done. However, we didn't do it that time. We are now doing it because we feel the greatest success of Equity Bank will not be the size of the balance sheet. It will be the lives and livelihoods that it will have changed. There are many people who have missed the equity movement because we never spoke loudly about it. We allowed the skeptics to speak about us, and that's where we all began, what they said. Yeah. We allowed that to be the narrative. Exactly the same way Africa has made a mistake of letting its story be told by the Western world. And it's told from their lenses, from what other people, we didn't tell our story. It was told by our competitors. It was told by our distractors. And in the process, the weak, the skeptics, or the not very solid, missed the opportunity. Look at it, for instance, when it came to ownership of equity. Those who bought equity shares in the early 2000s, for every share they bought, they now have 600 shares. For every 20 shillings they invested, they now have 24,000 shillings out of one share. See the amount of wealth so many people missed. Why? Because we were not defending ourselves. We allowed and we said, we'll prove people wrong. But in the process of proving people wrong, it has taken us 35 years to make the story believable. The outside world appreciated, recognized, and celebrated equity before we could celebrate it at home.
The next 35 years, Dr. Ari, where are we going to be?
I think where we will be most is that we'll have inspired our membership to create 10, 20, 100, or 1,000 equities in different sectors of our economy. We want hotels that can challenge the global hotel chains. We want tea farmers who can challenge the best tea farmer. Look at it. We now have the record of the best teacher in the world, the best teacher in Africa. Why shouldn't we be the best marathon ever? In the world? Yes. Why shouldn't we be best in everything Kenyan do? And that's what the Vision 2030 is all about, is being globally competitive. So hopefully what will be in the 35 years is having transformed Africa by inspiring Africa to believe in itself and to take its destiny into its hands and challenge the status quo and overcome the psychological barriers that we place on ourselves. Literally, same Eliot's challenge, no human being is limited. Let's remove the limitations and do what we have to do to make Africa globally competitive. The role of equity will be to facilitate and to put oxygen in the enterprises. Capital, debt, that's what we need to do. And I guess in 35 years, Equity will not just be a global company, but will be a leading global company. And hopefully, wherever people will be doing business, we'll be there to facilitate them.
Dr. Ari, it's taken some banks centuries, 100 years plus, to get to where they are. You've done that in half that time.
As a bank, we are only 15 years old, Jeff. We got licensed as a bank only in 2005.
15 years?
15 years. It can be done, Jeff. And each one of us who have a dream can make that dream come true. For us at Equity Bank, we assure our people that we'll facilitate those dreams to come true. We'll push oxygen to those dreams. We'll fuel them, we'll lubricate them, and we'll do whatever it takes.
Dr. I want to talk about those children of Wanjiko that you talked about. There's a whole generation out there, 18 plus. And then there's something known as Wings to Fly, a platform that's being provided for the poorest of the poor to go and get an education. And the most important thing is what they will bring back with them once they are done. That's building a whole, that's organically building the future. That's what you're doing. Let's talk about that when we come back.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dr. James Mwangi, he's the group CEO, or make that the CEO of Equity Group. Celebrating 35 years of existence, folks. What a bank. Incredible. And they've done so well. Yes, it was rough along the way. But look at this team. Look what they've done. What is the next 35 years old? We'll talk about this when we come back. Keep tweeting at Koinange Jeff, at Citizen TV Kenya. The hashtag is JKLIVE. JKLIVE takes a break. We'll be back. Plenty more ahead in a moment.